Norbert Kox, it's a pleasure and an honor to see you, a pillar of that exhibition. I would like to ask you a question about some visionary artists. How do you position yourself as a visionary artist? How would you explain what a visionary artist is?
I think there's a lot of different definitions for a visionary artist, but the aspect that I'm coming at it from is that I'm presenting the Word of God in a visual form. So most of my works I've called apocalyptic visual parables because they all tell a story. It's all like parable type things that are being told in visuals rather than in words. Although a lot of the paintings do have words in them also that help to interpret and tell what's happening.
It's a second language, words, but your first language would be visual.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah. You seem to have the problematics of the real thing and people who are deceived. Is it something that you think is a mission to explain the deception or to explain what is real?
Yes, I think that's quite a bit of it. And the main thing for me is that through my paintings I try to point out the things that I've found that are either falsehoods or things that have been misinterpreted or misunderstood. And then I try to present sometimes biblical verses or some way for the person who is searching for the truth that they can go a little deeper and do some searching and investigating on their own rather than take the word of what others have said or even what I'm saying, but that they should get into it themselves and try to discover for themselves and unfold it.
Is it what you did when you were 10 years as a hermit?
Well, when I was almost 10 years as a hermit, I did a lot of studying and praying at that time. And so that was more a time, I think, that I was being filled with the knowledge and understanding of the things that I'm able to present at this time.
Was it a sort of a period of to find the Prima Materia for your art afterwards?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think before I did go up in the woods, I painted my first major painting, and that painting was a painting of the crucifixion. After I did that painting, just a short time later, I received this inner calling to go up and live in the woods as a hermit. And that was a time that I guess it's my period in the wilderness, because it was a time that I got to spend mostly alone and studying and praying and receiving what things that God had to show me.
But 10 years are much more than 40 days in the desert. How is it possible to live that way during around 10 years?
Wait a minute, say that again. Because you said 40 days in the desert.
Yes,
okay,
I paralleled the 40
one.
days of Jesus in the desert with your 10
and
years.
And as you were saying the 40 days, I was thinking of the 40 years in the desert when they wandered the wilderness.
Okay.
Okay, but what was the question now?
How do you how do you explain that experience of 10 years as a hermit biblically?
How do I explain it? I don't know how to explain it. No, just that it was a wonderful time because before I went up in the woods, I had an experience where I felt the presence of God, and that's what really changed my whole life. And so while I was up in the woods, it was a period of time that I got to spend so much time alone with God. A lot of people never get to even be alone. And that time alone is what I really needed, because that's a time of reflection. So being alone and being able to pray and being able to just live by what God would show me, it was a great privilege and an honor to be able to go through that. And it was something that I needed, because without that I wouldn't be who I am today, and the work wouldn't be the same.
I feel when I see your paintings, I feel that you have a dimension of a guide in the purgatory of men. Do you feel yourself as a guide?
As a guide? Oh, that I would be to lead people, you mean?
Yeah,
to guide?
Perhaps,
to show
to inform, perhaps, people?
Inform, yeah. I think that, yeah, in that sense, yes. I think that I do have a mission to inform people and to show that that I've discovered that a lot of what has been presented in modern religion is not necessarily the real truth, and that each person has to really take on an investigation and a search of their own, and pray for enlightenment.
Would you like to present one of your painting here?
I don't know. I think
what we call the tree of life. Do you have perhaps a better presentation than the tree of life?
I don't know. I think. What do you think? Is this it? This is it. Okay. All right.
What is the relationship between this photograph that I cannot take? Why cannot I take that photograph?
You're not supposed to take this photograph because the building has a copyright on it, and they said that you can't photograph it, you can't reproduce it, you can't exhibit it. That they have a copyright, and that they're able to come after you if you show it. So.
And so, what is the relationship between the copyright and that bigger picture?
Well, this is a strange thing. The building itself is patterned after an iron molecule, so I don't understand how somebody could copyright the form of an iron molecule. How can you copyright that? That only belongs to God. So anyhow, that's what really inspired me to do this painting. I had originally taken the photograph, and after I took the photograph and found out the implications of the copyright and so forth, then I thought I need to do something with this, and it started to come to me about this painting. So the painting wasn't something that I immediately had a vision of, but it's something that kind of grew. Yeah. So as I worked on the painting, things were shown to me that had to be in the painting. And the fact that it's an iron molecule, and then in my research I discovered that trees and plants, they need iron to be able to create the oxygen that we breathe. And then once we breathe that oxygen in, our blood needs iron within it to carry the oxygen to supply our body with the life force that we need to survive. So here's this iron molecule that nobody can live without, and yet somebody has made a copyright on the form of this iron molecule. So that's really what the inspiration originally came from for this painting.
Well, I thank you very much for this interview.